Welcome back to Fiercely Unfiltered. I'm your host, Kelly Renee. And you know those moments in your life that kind of show you things clearly? I had one of those moments during COVID when I found out that my sister and my dad convinced and took my son, who was 17 at the time, to get a COVID shot. I am against the COVID shot for many reasons. I didn't get it. My kids have the same beliefs as me, so they didn't want it either. I didn't find out for a little while afterwards, but when I found out, my son told me because he was kind of upset with the fact that he got it and he only got one. He didn't go back to get any of the other ones. So he said, "Hey, I'll give you $100 if you go get the COVID shot and Shauna will take you." And they did it. No conversation, never called me, never asked me about it. My son didn't call me about it. And then a year later or so, he said, "I got a COVID shot." And I said, "What?" And he told me the story and I couldn't believe it. Like, those are some serious boundaries being crossed. So I called my sister and I said, "What is this I'm hearing about you taking Jacob to get a COVID shot?" And she goes, "Well, if you were a better parent, I wouldn't have to take him to get it." I was like, "Are you serious?" And she goes, "If you want to burn this bridge between us over this, feel free." I think that's how our conversation ended. And I've never called my sister since. We don't really have a relationship. I mean, she's my sister, so there's that. We're blood. But I mean, I always talk about growing up. I don't feel like my feelings mattered. I didn't feel like I belonged in my family. Well, this is just the clearest example of the dynamic I grew up with. Stuff happens that I don't like, that crosses boundaries or isn't right. So I bring it up, and I'm the problem for bringing it up. And I'm going to cause waves if I push the issue. So I never really got closure on this. And then I called my dad and I said, "What's going on? Why would you pay Jacob $100 to get the COVID shot?" And he was like, "Well, he's the last person in my family that I love that hasn't got it." And I was like, wow. Okay. Me and Caleb don't have it either. He's like, So that was kind of like, I mean, I still talk to my dad, but that kind of just between the both of them, like, my feelings don't matter. That's my child. And my child didn't even want that shot. And there's so many reasons I didn't believe in that because there's not a lot of research. They say you could be having problems having kids. And with my journey and trying to have kids, I didn't want anyone to have any more issues for something that wasn't necessary. So that's kind of how I grew up, with my feelings just not really mattering. Everyone thinking they know better than me. They're smarter than me. And if I'm not going to do what they think is right, they're going to do it. And they don't care what I think about it. And that's sad to me. And that, I mean, for so long, I've tried to have a relationship with my brother and sister. But this is what I got to deal with. I'm sick of lighting myself on fire to keep other people warm. Or I'm sick of trying to chase approval or relationship when no one gives a shit about me. I mean, like, you don't care about someone I'm going through a bad time in my life. And that's, if you were a better parent, I wouldn't have to do it. I mean, that's the first comment that came back to me. Not, "Let's talk about it. Oh, maybe I should have told you about it first." No remorse, no nothing. It was the right decision she made, and it doesn't matter what I think. This is kind of par for the course. I'm very active on social, and so is my family. But I don't get any likes from my sister or my brother. They haven't liked anything I've done on my stuff. They aren't proud of me for anything. They haven't asked me how my neck surgery went. Nothing. But I had a couple friends write me the other day when they saw a comment from my sister for the first time in years on my social media. And it wasn't about, "I'm glad your surgery went well." It was a post I made about getting my hair washed and how I haven't washed my hair in 5 years or something, because that's something I do for myself. And her comment was something like, "Well, I'm glad you can afford that," or something very passive aggressive. My family is very noisy when it comes to criticizing me or telling me my intent behind stuff or telling me the type of person I am. It's very loud, but there's no support. Here's another example. When I need something, I don't feel like I can ask my family without compensating them. Like, one of the last things my sister did for me was take me to my surgery, my plastic surgery I had in 2021. She's a nurse. So I would have had to pay a stranger to pick me up and take me. But I thought, why not my sister? She's always was looking for extra money at the time, working a couple jobs always. So I'm just going to offer her some cash to take me. So So I paid her like $500 to take me and pick me up for my surgery and to take me to my follow-up, hear what the doctor had to say, and take me home. And so I did that. But for me, I don't feel right asking my family to help me with anything unless I'm compensating them, which is crazy because I have friends that are willing to help me out. And I'm like, oh, I'll give you some money for that. And they're like, you don't have to pay me. So it's just hard to accept help from people because I've never really gotten it. I have a brother and a sister, but I don't feel like I have a brother and a sister. I don't feel like I have the support. I haven't talked to them in years. I mean, I just had my neck surgery and I actually Ubered myself to and from that surgery. I didn't have anyone. I had friends offer to take me and pick me up, but I don't like to put people out. People got their own lives. I don't want to be a burden on anyone. So I just Ubered myself. It was a surgery where I had to stay the night. So my doctor said, sure, you can go ahead and Uber it and Uber it back, which was great. So I got to do that. And that's how independent I am. And they say that's not a good thing. It's because I had to deal with my emotions as a child. Now that I'm reevaluating my life, I see that. I see that I had to deal with all my emotions as a child. I even talk about how I didn't go on vacations because if there were issues, we didn't talk about them. I just didn't go. And then the problem was solved. So I was the problem. If I didn't like something that they were doing, I was the problem. And now that there's politics and we're growing up, we're on different parties. We see the world completely different. And now as an adult, I can see that. But as a kid, when you're growing up and you're just want to connect with your siblings and you just want to have that support that people talk about. You have a sister, you have a best friend. I never had that. And as an adult, I was hoping we could build something more. I went through some shitty times in my life and I wasn't able to show up for people. And I know that. And I apologize and I'm sorry for that. But you hope that all the problems you had when you were younger, that you outgrow them. Like now that I have kids, all I want is my kids to support each other and to get along and to talk. So I understand that. I've always been willing to answer the phone if someone reaches out to me, but no one reaches out to me. I think my brother reached out like a year ago and asked me to go to a EB fundraiser for Deborah. That's who he's involved with. That's the foundation he works for. And I went. It was in LA. He called me the day before. I said, sure. If someone's going to call me and ask me for support, I'm going to be there. So I went. And we had a great time, or I thought we did. But then the next morning, I get a call from my cousin's husband, who's not blood. So he's married into the family. And he's apologizing to me. And he's visibly upset, like he's shaken. It's on the phone, but I could hear it in his voice. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I just want to apologize. I can't even repeat what was said about you. It makes me uncomfortable. I just want to apologize that everyone has such bad things to say about you. And I didn't even ask what was said. So it was my family talking shit about me. I don't know what they were even saying because it doesn't matter. This is what they've been doing my whole life. So I was like, you know what? Don't be upset about it. It wasn't you. Doesn't even faze me. I don't even care what they had to say. He's like, are you serious? I feel so bad. I'm like, why do you feel bad? You're not my blood. That's my blood doing this to me. So it's nice to see that people who didn't grow up around it where it was normal, that they're upset about it. And it makes me feel good that not everyone acts like this and some people see a problem with it. So I just want people to understand that you don't have to be close to your family to be a good person. Like I always thought, like if I can't get along with my immediate family or even my cousins and stuff, then like how do I get along with other people? But some people you're just not meant to get along with. Some people you just see the world completely different than, even if you have the same DNA, even if you're related by blood. And they say sometimes God will send strangers in your life to support you because your family doesn't. And that's where I am. I have so many friends and strangers that give me words of encouragement. I don't get any of that from my blood. And that's fine. And even they always say that you have different relationships with your parents, each one of the siblings. And I'm sure siblings have different relationships with each other depending on age differences and stuff like that. But for me, my family or my parents have always said I could handle anything on my own. They didn't need to worry about me. But it's like, just because someone's capable doesn't mean they don't want to be worried about. Like, they would have my sister as an adult, call her before she left for work, call her when she got home, like just call them to make sure she got safe everywhere she went. My mom's gone. Now that my mom's gone, my dad doesn't even call me. And I watched this reel of Patrick David one time talking about how he didn't believe in God and how he hadn't talked to his mom in years. And he was just like, if you're real, I want my mom to call me. And he said like 2 a.m, his mom reached out and called him. And it was like, I just felt like I need to call you. And he believes in God now. And I was remembering that. And I was like, I wish my dad would call me. Like, I know I can take care of myself, but I just wish my dad would call me. And within 24 hours, my dad called me. And he hadn't called me in years. And he said, oh, I missed a call from you. I was calling you back. I was like, I didn't call you. And I looked at my phone. I had no but dials, nothing. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I missed a call from you. Because if I call him, he'd always call me back. And when he called me and said that he missed a call, and I went through my phone, I kept going through my phone like maybe I'm missing something. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, made my faith even stronger, because I do talk to God and I do ask him. But I actually said, I wish my dad wanted to call me, not just call me. But I asked him, like, why don't you call me? And he's like, because I don't want to bother you. And I let him know, you're not bothering me. Because for me, as a parent, my son that lives in Oregon, he is very bad on getting back to you. He doesn't really care about communicating. But I'll text him like 10 times before he writes me back. And I'm not upset. I understand he's 23 and he has his own life. But I want him to know that I'm thinking about him and I love him. And that's why I text him, because I want him to know how much he's loved. So I never got that. Me and my mom talked all the time, but you know how you have someone in your family who keeps you all together. And now that my mom's gone, I guess my dad and my sister talk all the time. My brother comes down and the 3 of them get together all the time. My sister will invite my son over that lives here once in a while for dinner. And I think it was like 3-4 months ago. I can't remember, maybe less than that. My son, we went golfing and he was headed to my sister's after for dinner. I said, oh, we'll have a great time. And then I saw him a couple of days later and I said, so how was dinner? He's like, oh, I was a little uncomfortable. And I said, why? And he said, so every time I go over there, Shauna talks shit about you. And it just makes me uncomfortable. And I said, well, tell her, hey, if I'm going to be over here, can you just not talk about my mom while I'm here? He's like, well, I don't want to get in an argument with her. So I just don't say anything. And he's like, you know what? Next time I go, I am going to say something. Then I said, well, what does she say anyways? And she said, oh, so did you meet up with your mom this month so she can get her picture to act like she cares? I just think that's so fucking shitty. It's like, you don't want to be in my life or support me? Great. But I hate when people try and devalue you to other people who do care and love you. Like, that's my son. I'm his mom. Did you like it when people talk shit about your mom? Like, what's the goal? Is this to try and make my kid think I don't love him? That I just go around him so I can get a picture? Like, why say that? And that's what I grew up with. Just passive aggressive comments like that are unnecessary. And I always took it and dealt with it and just let it go off my shoulders because I wanted that relationship. But at this point in my life, and after the COVID incident and her response to it, I'm not reaching out anymore. I don't need a relationship with someone who thinks I'm a piece of shit. And her actions to me, that's what they show me. I'm not someone who's close and fuzzy and talks on the phone all the time. So, I probably wasn't the sister she wished she had, but I never want to be someone who's making someone's life harder, who's making passive aggressive comments just to hurt their feelings or devalue who they are. And I don't think my son's been over there again, but it's just sad that a 22-year-old has to talk to a grown adult saying, please don't make fun of my mom when I'm here. It upsets me. And that's what I hope. Maybe she watches this and we could stop. You don't have to be in everyone's life. You can choose you don't want to be a part of your sibling's life. Great. But if you don't want to be there for the support and the love, don't be there for the noise. Don't be that person that tells a narrative about that person that you don't even know. You haven't even talked to me in 5 years. Do you know who I am to tell my son my intent on hanging out with him. It's not your place. And I wish people would just mind their own business in that way. But I just wanted to give you guys a little look into how I grew up. This is the loudest versions of how I can show that dynamic through these incidents that I just went over. He's like, if mama was alive, which is my mom, this would never be happening. Because as a mom, it's your job to keep your family together and everyone getting along. And she'd always have gatherings and invite us all. And so we would have that family time. But now that it's our choice, I'm not invited anymore. And that's fine. And I never want my kids or anyone to choose not being a part of the family they're invited to be because of me. Like, I don't mind if they're talking shit about me. Don't not be a part of it because of that. But if it makes them uncomfortable and they address it and it doesn't stop, then they could do what they want. So for all those people who have difficult family dynamics, don't let it define you. Don't feel bad that you don't get along with your family. You're not all made the same. You're all different. Sometimes you don't see the world the same way. And sometimes people rather be judgmental than accepting. And that's okay. You just got to live with it. And don't let other people's attitudes affect you. And don't let the darkness and cruelty of other people make you react that same way.